servants, you can run out of anything else in life. You can run out of ideas. You can run out of plans. You can run out of gestures. You can run out of hymns or songs or sermons. But don't you ever
run out of the anointing. Yes, sir.
You can run out of chords. You can run out of notes. You can run out of songs and hymns and choruses and refrains. But don't ever once in your life run out of oil. Because oil to a prophet is a symbol of the anointing. And once you have the anointing, ladies and gentlemen, you have everything. I know you want the Mercedes. I know you want the big expensive house in the estate gated community. But let me tell you this. Anything you got from man, you can lose in a day. But when you get oil from God, an anointing from God, anything that they ever take from you can and will be replaced. I'd rather have oil than $1 million. I'd rather have oil than a brand new building. God, you can touch anything I have, but baby, don't touch
the oil.
Isn't it interesting to know that David said concerning Saul, do not touch the Lord's anointing. He didn't say don't touch the Lord's man. He didn't say don't touch the Lord's king. He didn't say don't touch the Lord's individual. He says anointing, because it is the oil that makes men different. And Elijah knew that I don't have one servant who don't have oil. I don't have anybody that I've ever taught, that I've ever mentored, that don't have oil. And it is interesting to know that sometimes your family can become so familiar with your humanity that they miss your spirituality. And she knew him after his madness, but she forgot his spiritual identity and dimension. Can I submit to you this evening, and I'm not going to keep you much longer, and of course if you believe that Santa Claus is coming at 11:39 tonight. Boy, you're a tough crowd. Can I tell you that all the time the creditors were knocking at the door, the oil was in the house? Can I tell you that during every conversation that she had about how difficult life is, the oil was in the house? Can I tell you that sometimes we worry and fret and fuss and complain about how hard things are in life when we've got the answer sitting right there in our house? Can I tell you how many times we complain and cry and bawl because we don't have what other people have? But I came here tonight to tell this family, you got something more precious than anyone. You got something more precious than silver or gold. Never met the man, but I met the man's father, that he is my father. And I came here to tell you tonight that as long as a man of God lived under your roof, there is no creditor that can come for your son. And I came here to tell you, you will not die, but you shall live. Now somebody say yeah. That's why men of God are not for anybody. The kind of woman that marry a man of God has to be a woman that cares about spiritual stuff. Because men of God don't deposit in the flesh, we deposit after the spirit.
Yeah.
And the man of God said, go back to your house. There ain't no way that no servant of mine is going to die and leave a house empty. And the woman admitted, there's oil in the house. Now the oil was always there. The oil was there before. It never went anywhere, never left. It was there when the man of God was alive. It was there when the man of God died. I need you to know that when a man of God dies, I don't even know who I'm preaching to tonight. When a man of God dies, he does not take the oil with him. We don't need no oil in heaven. The Bible said that when Jacob died in Goshen in Egypt, he said, take my body out when you're coming. God brings you out of Egypt. And my God, when they were bringing his bones out, a dead man fell into his grave and came back alive. But the anointing was still on his bones. I came to tell you that you got anointing in your house. When the dead that man used to sleep on, the anointing is there. The clothes he used to wear, the anointing of God is still in that house.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Preach, Rev. Preach, Rev.
Remember, this is a memorial service, so I gotta calm down. Somebody wave your hand and say, yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
The anointing, the oil is, touch street people and tell them the oil is still there.
Oil is still there.
You looking at the man dead. The wife told Elijah, the man is dead. And all you looking at, the man is dead. But there's a legacy in that house. My God, I dare any of Reverend Graham's son or daughter to go get the Bible he used to read and take that Bible and put it on your head. Because the anointing that used to be on you preach is still. That when your grandchildren don't feel good, take them to the side of the bed that your husband used to sleep on and stretch them out for the anointing.
Still there.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. Preach, Rev.
This is not about bills and cars and property and insurance money. This is about the anointing. This is about legacy. Because the legacy that any man of God leaves is transferable. Do you understand that when God calls a man, he makes covenant with that man? Do you understand that that man, that this Reverend Graham had a covenant with God? Do you understand that none of his children will be lost? Do you understand that any church that he pastor, the doors will never close? God, the anointing is on the covenant that God made with this man. And even though he is absent from the body, the
Present.
I dare Gary or Troy or Rohan or Oliver or Shanity to go back home and lift your hand and say, God, give me the oil, give me the oil. I dare Audrey to stand in that house and lift her hand and say, God.
Woo.
Give me listen to me very carefully because I'm about to close. I've been preaching all day. Oh God. But I got a baby to deliver tonight. And my water just broke. And I feel that this baby is about to come right here at this altar. Because I need you to know would have stayed on the shelf. How many of you are dying and got oil on your shelf and you running around talking about you ain't got nothing? You know what? We need sometimes to activate the anointing. Going by the principle of the case of this woman, we need a man of God to show up and tell you there's oil in your house. And God sent this man of God, this Elijah, to tell every member of the Graham family, there is oil in your house. You're not sick. You're not old, you're not dying, you're not crippled, you ain't got cancer, you ain't got virus, you got oil! You catch this, catch this. Can you just catch this? Can somebody just reach up prophetically and do like this? Can you catch it and bring it down there? Can you just catch it? That's a prophetic move, and you're catching revelation. Since it took a man of God to initiate, to birth the idea of him leaving oil in his house, it's going to take a man of God to activate that oil. Because the legacy is not the money, the legacy is the oil. The legacy is so powerful. And tonight I'm going to get Mama to stand and the two boys that are here to stand, because I'm going to lay hands on you and activate that oil in your life. You ain't leaving here tonight the same way you came. The anointing that was on him is going to be on you. The anointing that was in his life is going to be on you. The power of God that's on him is going to be on you. Every covenant that God made with him, he just made it with you. Everything that God said he'll do for him, God is saying, I'll do it. I'll do it for you, because I came here tonight to tell you, you may not have money and you may not have riches, but you got oil. And as long as you got oil, it's only a matter of time before the race is going to come. Now let me wrap this up and close it off and lay hands on these people of God. Do what God called me here to do, and then go get my Burger King. Elijah told the woman, get empty vessels, because he's activating the anointing. And to activate the anointing, like the man of God and give instructions. That's why some of you gotta watch out where you're going to church, because you need to be under a man of God, not just somebody who reads hymns and preach a nice sermon. You need a man of God to activate. You already got the oil. You need to activate the oil. And he said, pour the oil into the empty vessels. I ain't got time to preach about that. If I had time to preach, I would tell you that every time you hear somebody in you lay hands